Hi everybody, welcome to the joy of cooking with Michelle. Now I hope my camera is situated so you can see everything that's going on in my kitchen. Today we're doing something fun, nutritious, fast, and easy. We are cooking a Mediterranean penne pasta with some tofu, herbed tofu, and some lovely vegetables, olives, and feta. You're going to love this. So let's get started. First of all, what I have is some nice olive oil. So I'm going to drizzle it in my pan, just a little bit, a couple teaspoons. And to start with, we are going to saute a whole red pepper and half of a chopped red onion. So that's what we do, and we saute that for about 3 minutes. So that's the first part. It's a good thing this is a non-stick frying pan, and this element on my stove top heats very quickly. So 3 minutes we have, and in the time that this is sauteing, what we're going to do is we're going to take this herbed tofu and we're going to crumble it. You see I've already started already. And I'm going to show you how to do that. What we do is, I find it easy to cut it into strips, and then we just take it like this and press our fingers together just like we're crumbling feta. And you may want to use the whole block of feta. It says to use the whole package, which is a good idea. And what you're going to see, the joy of this recipe, is that when the feta and the tofu is combined, it has a lovely consistency and flavor because the tofu takes on the flavor of the feta cheese. So along with everything else that's in this recipe that we've used so far, the 1 pepper, the half of a red onion, the package of tofu, we also need a 1/4 of a cup of olives, a 1/4 of a cup of pesto. I also used some roasted sun-dried tomatoes. So I just pulled one of those out and chopped it up. I added that myself. It wasn't in the recipe, but I thought it would be perfect. And a 1/4 cup of pesto. So everything else was part of the recipe, and you can see how easily that tofu crumbles up. Very similar to the feta. Now, I discovered this recipe quite a while ago. And there was a dietitian at our hospital during Nutrition Month who brought in a hot plate and made this for everybody in the cafeteria to sample. Because a lot of us, we don't understand tofu very much. We don't know how to cook it. Tofu is made out of soybean curd, and it's a great plant-based alternative. The reason it's so versatile is it takes on the flavor of what you cook it with. Now, the other thing I should say, in order to have a successful recipe, what I do is ahead of time, I cook about 1 to 2 cups of penne per person. So remember that your pasta doubles in size as it cooks. So what I did was I started with this package of penne. This is one of my favorites. And myself, I use half to 3/4 of the bag. So you can see I still have a little bit left. Remember, it doubles when it cooks. So if you use 2 cups in some salted boiling water for about 10-12 minutes, it grows to be about 4 cups of pasta. Now, this recipe is meant to serve 4 people, so you need at least 4 cups of cooked penne. And if there's a couple men that are going to be joining you, they probably are going to want more than a cup of cooked pasta. But in general, for women, a cup of cooked pasta is a really good portion size. So that's good to remember. Now, I have everything you can see already portioned out here. The nice thing about this is that we want the onions, we want the pasta, penne pasta, we want the peppers to be still a little al dente. So what we do is, after the peppers and the onions have cooked for several minutes, maybe 3 minutes, we add the tofu. And remember, the tofu is all crumbled. Oh, I have a feeling I should have used a bigger frying pan for this, because I have about 4 cups of pasta to add to this, and you can already see it's getting relatively full. But that's okay, we'll work with this. The joy of the tofu is that you can eat it as is. It's already cooked, ready to eat. And I'm using a firm tofu. I'm a fan of the firm tofu. It's the perfect texture to crumble. All we really need to do in this recipe at this point is heat it through for about a minute, because essentially what we're doing is just warming the tofu up, because our peppers and onions are cooked already. Well, mostly cooked. That's why we want to undercook the onions and the peppers, because what we need to do is add the other ingredients and warm everything through. And of course, your pasta is already cooked and drained at this point. So this is a really great recipe to have prepped, so when you come home, you could be home within 10-15 minutes, boom, you can have dinner on the table, which is fantastic if you've got kids that are going to events like hockey right away, or very close to when everybody gets home from work and from school. So like I said, we're just heating the tofu through for about a minute to warm it all up. And then what we do is we're going to add our pasta. Now, like I said, you can do it proportional to how many people there are in your family. There, I'm going to use that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it a little bit so that I make sure that the tofu and the peppers are all mixed in. You should be able to see that from where you are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that 1/4 cup of pesto. Now, I just have ready-made pesto in a jar, so that's very easy for me. If you have homemade pesto, go ahead and use that. That will be fantastic. Again, 1/4 cup. So I'm going to spread that. I love this. As a plant-based recipe, this is fantastic. And seeing as that we're starting a new year, thinking about incorporating more plant-based nutrition into your diet will help you achieve and maintain a healthy weight. So keep that in mind. That's a hot tip of the day. Okay, there we go. I'm going to, when I add the pesto, I'm going to add these sun-dried tomatoes also. I thought the sun-dried tomatoes would be fun, and they would add just a little bit more intensity to the flavor. Remember, the tofu is herbed already, so you might find tofu that just says herbs on it, or you might find Italian tofu. Oh, already look at that. Oh, it's looking fantastic. And what we're doing is we're tossing it all the way through, letting it heat up. Oh, already it's heating up. So it'll only take a couple minutes to heat the pasta all the way through. A non-stick frying pan is really also important in this recipe. Oh, it's starting to smell delicious. And again, very Mediterranean-based recipe with the herbs and the pasta, the vegetables. One reason it's really a good Italian recipe is because what we have is some black olives, a quarter of a cup of black olives, and feta, a quarter of a cup of feta. So once it heats all the way through, what we're going to do is we're going to have enough servings to feed the family. So you might want enough pasta for 4 people or 6 people. I'm going to put this recipe up in its entirety so you can judge how much pasta you need. And what you can do is proportionally add as much pasta as you need for your family, whether it's 4 or 6 cups of cooked pasta. Proportionally, you should be able to make do with the tofu in the volume that it states and all the other ingredients. Okay, this is looking mighty fine. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Again, you're just heating the pasta through because remember, the pasta's already cooked. That's what it looks like in the frying pan. It's full. Also, I didn't tell you how economical this recipe is. Super economical. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a really lovely portion on my plate for you to see. There, just like that. With some peppers. And if you don't have red peppers, you can use green peppers. Don't worry about it, okay? I'm going to turn this off. It's a bit sizzly. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crumbled feta and I'm going to liberally add some of that to the top. Oh, yummy! And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a handful of those olives, ta-da, and put it on top. Doesn't that look delicious? Oh my gosh. I'm going to take a photo of this and I'm going to send you, as soon as I get off of this video, the recipe in its entirety. Now let's see what we think of this. I've had this before, so I know it's absolutely delicious. Oh my gosh, super spectacular. I think everybody in the family is going to love this. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you again next Monday, same time. Bye now.